Welcome to this new AMA session. Tonight we will have here Florian Angel from the Demiurgos Holding, Paul Arion, Demiurgos Holding, and the White Wolf, Marius Urbaniak. We will start with a short introduction. After this, we will have 4 points of interest. So let's start with the introductions first. Florian, please introduce yourself.
Hey, hello everybody. It's funny that around 20 of January last year, the project of AgeOfZalmoxis and Moon, and been in touch with Marius ever since. And it's funny that exactly 1 year, approximately the same month and time of the month, we are now again here together. You know, we had a bearish market, and we have made so many things, each on its own, and I'm so happy for the AgeOfZalmoxis, especially when you have launched the MVP back in August. It was amazing. You know, everybody loved that, and so much potential there. And I'm happy to contribute on my own a little bit on the story side of the game. You know, let's talk about the future of us, either both together and on its own way. You know, let's hear about together some of our plans for the upcoming year 2023, as well as for the long term.
Paul,
Yes.
Paul Arion, can you tell us some words about you? You are well known, but maybe some of the members don't know you.
Yes, of course. So I'm Paul Arian, and I'm a co-founder partner with Florian, and I'm the CEO of Demiurgos. I've been in the film business for a very long time, like 27 years or so. I have around 100 credits of Hollywood blockbusters that I participated in this 27 or 30 years or whatever they are. I have 5 Oscars on my resume for visual effects with the teams involved. That's over the years. I worked with some of the biggest directors out there, like Jon Favreau. I worked 1 year with Jon Favreau. I was in Hollywood. I planned basically Jungle Book. I was the on-set technical supervisor of Jungle. That took a year. I worked with Ridley Scott for on the last 2 Alien films, Prometheus and Alien Covenant. My teams, we worked with Christopher Nolan. Tenet, we had an Oscar for that with the team. So basically I have a lot of experience in filmmaking as well. I'm also like a writer, director. I have a sci-fi film right now in the circuits in the world where with a friend of mine, we've done a sci-fi, which is quite successful out there. It's still playing right now in the world circuit. I think we won like 40 awards or something like that to know. I'm doing pre-production, post-production, shooting, planning, and a lot of in between, like cinematography. I've done a lot of layout, it's called, which is a digital cinematography field. So a lot of, and with Florian here, we started Demiurgos using the blockchain and new ideas, as you probably know about us. And we try to build and to go towards our goals, which is attacking the multimedia fields, like film in time. So right now we're building, and it looks pretty good. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. We are glad to have you in this ecosystem.
Yeah, thank you.
And now we want to hear about Marius. In our community, he's well known. You have the mic.
Thank you for having me here, guys. Welcome to our new guest. Really excited for this AMA. So for who doesn't know me, I'm the CEO of Moon Studios and head of AgeOfZalmoxis project. It's a long journey we have. It's not just an NFT project. It's a real Web 2 game connected to the blockchain we try to build. And we had this X-Day event in Paris where we showed the MVP we built so far with lots of progress on the way. So now I'm looking for this new collab and lots of new things to happen.
Thank you, Marius. So as I said, we have 4 points to discuss this evening. The first one is Koson and vEGLD first premium listing and benefits on VESTA Finance. Marius, could you tell the new guys a couple of words about Koson?
Yeah, sure. So Koson, it's an utility token for the game. As you might know, it's being already listed on 2 centralized exchanges, which is Bitmart and MEXC. Also, it's on the exchange as well. We had a private sale done. Staking, it's up and running for a while now. So basically, people can stake the Koson for more rewards. And there's going to have a lot of utility in the game, but also on the marketplace soon. So people can exchange the NFTs using Koson.
So we should stay tuned and wait for the best.
Definitely.
Thank you, Marius. Florian, now it's your turn, let's say. Tell us some words about vEGLD. What does it represent? And what do you want to do with this utility token?
So we have built this whole ecosystem and more to come to it with this vision in mind to support valuable projects on the blockchain, not only ours, right? Because our main goal was to unite valuable communities into a single entity that will support each other, and of course, I can say that I am lucky enough to be part of AgeOfZalmoxis team as a writer as well. And my work with Paul in writing brought us, in fact, together. First, we have started a Dacian series together, which is on development. And after that, we had a lot in common with AgeOfZalmoxis. And so we came up together. And, lots of stories are to be told both in gaming as well as in filmmaking. So we came up with this liquid staking protocol, which is, in fact, a stronger vEGLD by definition, because you are having your vEGLD on staking, and every single day, the vEGLD on staking, which becomes vEGLD, it's indexed by the annual APR, right? So as we speak right now, after about 1 month from launching the vEGLD protocol, it stands at $40.5 USD, which is more valuable than the vEGLD itself because of this index I told you about. So right now the value is 1.00755 vEGLD and increasing every single day. We expect in about 10 months to become 1.1, so a 10% win for the vEGLD. What does it mean? It means that when you are funding a project in the future, right, your value in US dollars grows because of the vEGLD. So you can simply stake your vEGLD, receive the vEGLD, and wait for the funding opportunities, which means in time you will get more US dollars value. So this is the basic concept of the vEGLD. You can do whatever you want with the vEGLD. You can unstake it and just simply receive the APR, or you can use it in farms, in our decks, or you can mint with it, or various other investment opportunities. So this is the foundation and the spearhead of our whole ecosystem. With the vEGLD, other projects can be founded, right? That's the main news.
Thank you, Florian. what about the Koson listing on VESTA Exchange? Can you tell us about some words about this?
Of course, in our mind, the AgeOfZalmoxis community is the strongest on the blockchain. This is what we feel because we love what your work and also your community is so engaged and supportive. So we really see a long-term utility for the Koson because of its value in the game. Play and earn Kosons, which is amazing, by the way. So under these terms, we have developed our DEX in tiers, in ranks of performance, let's say. Okay, so the platinum one is the top one, only Kosons qualify so far, and it translates with up to 7 times more benefits in the production of the VESTA token. VESTA token is the token that governs our DEX, and it will be used to acquire a stable coin, which is upcoming in the second half of this year. So basically, a platinum partner that lists his token in our DEX will receive this huge benefit of minting faster the VESTA token, which will bring their communities more stable coins. This is one advantage. The second one, which is also very valuable, is that the Koson will grow in value 10% per year just for doing nothing, because it's paired with the vEGLD, which is in fact 5%, because you are doing the pair half-half, right? So without any single transaction in our DEX, the Koson will grow in value because the index of the vEGLD. Okay, so there is one option to list the Koson with the vEGLD, and have this liquidity pool in any other exchange, right? So you have that, as everybody knows, or the other option where you can pair the Koson with the staked vEGLD, the vEGLD, and automatically earn the APR of the vEGLD. So just by doing nothing, receive these benefits. The third benefit of being a platinum partner is that the fees for the liquidity providers are higher. We follow the MyR model, approximately. They have about 0.5 per mil fees for any swap in their listed pairs. So we are about 0.6 per mil. And the Koson creator, which is the game itself, receives 0.1 out of this fee, which is something new. Nobody did that before. So the token creator receives 0.1 from any other swap made with his token in our DEX. The liquidity provider, which can be your community or your investors, either one can participate to whatever they wish in these liquidity pools, they receive half, 0.25 per mil for any swap, just for providing this liquidity, which, by the way, is mentioned. It is growing in value by itself because of the indexing of the vEGLD, right? So in total, the AgeOfZalmoxis communities will receive about 0.35 from any and all fees in our DEX with Kosons. These are the main 5 advantages.
Thank you, Florian. Paul, could you tell us about your long-term plans with Koson and AgeOfZalmoxis?
I think Florian is better to answer to this question. I think Florian, probably you can continue.
Yes, I am more engaged with with both communities in this technical aspect. Yeah. So we are looking to 2 years maturity, right, of our partnership. So assuming that we start this partnership right now, if we try to make an exercise and look 2 years in the future, the vEGLD will be indexed to approximately 1.2 vEGLD. So about 10%, 11% win per year, right? And this is perpetual. Every day is added a little bit. The longer we stay, the more valuable it gets. So we start now, we build in bearish when the vEGLD is $40, right? We are believers. We believe that in 1 year, 2 years, it will come back on a bullish track, right? Because that's why we are here. We believe into that. So if we are building now and expect 2 years of maturity, winning 20% out of everything just for being there, just for existing, right? So imagine all the Kosons paired, not all the Kosons and the vEGLD paired together, in farms where people win from any swap there, and automatically there is a guaranteed growth of 20% in 2 years. And if we hit bullish by that time, this 20% will mean a lot.
Thank you, Florian. Thank you.
By that time, we expect the game to be live, in alpha mode, and to start engaging more people into the gameplay and the communities, and adoption will grow and everything will grow, and multiply that with 20% just for having this liquidity pool.
Sounds good, Florian. We'll step to the next point, the second point of our AMA, and that's the vision, concept, and lore of AgeOfZalmoxis, and why will it be successful? Here, I think Marius can tell us more, and then maybe Florian will add some.
The history, the tales, and all this kind of lore haven't been told yet. So we're going to come with something new on the market, on the gaming market. Because as you might know, it's just, the Vikings, elves, dwarves, this kind of lore trending. So we're coming with something new, which might get some extra traction. Beside this, it's the game mechanics that they gotta make the game wanted to be played. Adding on top of this is the free-to-play mode as well, where we encourage everyone to try at least the game. And we have a long-term vision that we can give an example to the Web 2 companies, the game companies, that the blockchain is a good thing to have. That will be a summary.
Thank you, Marius. Florian, we know that you have a great experience in documenting the Dacian history. Can you tell us some more things about, and maybe how do you see this history integration in a AAA game?
Gladly to do it together with Paul, because it's a huge teamwork with him. In the past 5 years, very few people know about that. So I'm happy to start with how we engaged into this Dacian lore and myths and historical point of view as a story to sell, right? So basically, I have started alone in 2016, film a TV series based on the Dacian mythology. And shortly after my start, I was lucky enough to meet Paul. He's amazing, and we joined forces. And by this time, I think we reached somehow hundreds of pages written in scripts, in episodes and so on, and research over and over again in all these years. So what I can tell you from this point of view is that from the start, me and Paul, we were utterly conquered by this story. So many things we have found out is not about being Romanian, that we understood that the value in those stories are at least equal to the mythology of the ancient Greece or the Vikings, So if the Vikings became a worldwide known product by TV series and games, because now we are speaking about gaming, right? But imagine that before gaming, there was the Viking series and a couple of others back in 2010, 2012. And right after that, when this huge wave and peak of Viking hype all over the world, games started to develop with this subject, and they are still going to develop. So this is our huge opportunity together, you on the gaming side and us on the film industry side, to promote these unique stories of Dacians. And I can tell you just a little bits of info which is unique to the world. For example, we have the first story board carved in stone in the Trajan's column in Rome, which exists to date. It's 2,000 years old. You have the whole story of the Dacian wars there, from the first one to the second one, in about 106 drawings, very detailed, and nobody has that. Rome conquered the Gauls, conquered the Germans and the Brits and so on, but they don't have a storyboard in stone. Why? Because when the clash happened with the Dacians, it was a mighty foe for the Romans. Imagine that the war lasted for 20 years, and over and over again. Basically, it's a lifetime of a human back 2,000 years ago. So the Romans were quite impressed about those foes, and they have discovered, and we have testimony from the authentic historians like Herodotus and Cassius Dios and a couple of others, that the Dacians were considered the most warlike people in the world, more than the Spartans. So we have these statements with good and with the bad. We don't have to go in a protochronistic side of history, but we take whatever it's good. And basically, the Dacians were Vikings on the 10th power, on steroids, because we have archaeological proofs that they were warlike people, not farmers. And every time the Danube froze, they cross the frozen Danube every single year, and they pillage everything up to Syria, today's Syria. So imagine all the Greece and Macedonia and everything, they pillaged every single year. And that is why the Romans came to them. Because in 86 AD, Diurpaneus, which was to become Decebalus later, because Decebalus is a nickname. In fact, his name probably was Diurpaneus. He crossed the frozen Danube first and attacked the Roman Empire in Moesia Inferior and caused a huge pillaging and ravishing there. Everything, took thousands of slaves and gold and, women, and just like the Vikings did. And on top of that, they beheaded the Roman governor of the province Moesia and sent his head to Rome as a challenge. And so, Ancient is laughing there. Can you stop your mic? And so the war started with the Romans attacking the Dacia next year in 86 AD and concluded with a huge defeat of the Romans in the first battle of Tape, where General Fuscus, been skin alive, and his legion totally destroyed. By the way, it was the 5th legion, Alude, which was founded by Caesar after conquering the Gauls. And this legion was the best one in the history of Roman Empire to that date. On their shields, they have painted an elephant, because in Egypt they fought as legionnaires with an army of elephants, war elephants, and they won. So it was the pride of Rome. That legion was totally destroyed, and never, in their honor, it was never remade by the Romans. So this is how the Dacian War started. And 2 years later, the Romans came with new forces, and a partial defeat was made to the Dacians. So they came up with a peace, in 87 AD, where the peace, in fact, was very beneficial to the Dacians, because technically the Rome paid tribute to them not to invade the Romans anymore. So it was a huge victory for the Dacians, because they have received lots of gold from Rome just to sit home, lots of war machines, lots of engineers. So they started to build their own citadels and their own fortresses, which in fact triggered the Second War in 101 AD, which also ended with a peace, and finally the third war in 106 AD, where the Dacians been conquered only partially. But what is important is that the Emperor Trajan, which by the way it's a hero, a brilliant mind, just like Decebalus was, he summoned all 11 legions of the Roman Empire, and also forged 2 new legions, up to 13, for the first time in Roman history by that time. Imagine that they took the legions from the Israel, which in turn caused the revolt of the Israelites, for which the Temple of David, the Temple of Solomon, was destroyed in 115. In the same time, the legions from the Persia were took from there, which is today Turkey, approximately, and brought into Dacia for the war, which caused also a rebellion against the Romans. So imagine the impact, geopolitical impact, of this war worldwide. It was not only a war north of the Danube. It caused a lot of troubles for the Romans, of course. Eventually, worldwide. Eventually, they won the war, and the free Dacians migrated in the mountains north of the Roman Dacia, if you want, but it just begun, in fact, because for 150 years, the rebellious Dacians attacked every time the Roman Dacian, every year, causing a lot of troubles. Some of them were recruited, and they have merged into the first cohort, Aelia 1 Dacorum, known to be founded around 120 by Hadrian, the successor of Trajan, which this legion was sent to pacify Britain. So the Dacians from Aelia 1 Dacorum were sent to Britain, and they were engaged there until 405. So we speak about 300 years. Over and over again, the children and the youngsters from Roman Dacia were grown father to son, trained in the Roman army, and sent to Britain, where they have a museum of their own right now in Vindolanda. You can see traces of that in Britain. So beside this historical fact of the society and the warlike people and so on, they had an amazing mythology with a lot of creatures and witchery and a lot. In Romania, we still use a lot of archaic, beliefs and pagan beliefs. In fact, Christianity, Orthodox Christianity from Romania, it is considered the most pagan Christianity in the whole world, because in order to adopt this Christian religion into Wallachia, if you want, they had to adopt the old pagan rituals of the Dacians, So we have a lot of, like Sânziene, like the night of Saint Andrew, and a lot of holidays.
This means, Florian, sorry for interrupting. This means that the Dacian blood doesn't dilute.
Yeah, right. So we have this heritage, which is unique to us. And for example, we have Samka. Samka is considered to be, some sort of the mother of all evils. The mythology goes back to the first god before Zalmoxis, where when there was a pantheon of multiple gods, with Gebelizis being the war god, the thunder god, right? So this god, Gebelizis, he made a trend, half human, half tree, right? So this trend was named Păduroiu, which means the tree man, So his job was to communicate with the humanity, between the God and the humanity. And his realm was în crugul pământului, which means in the depth of the earth, where the Saturday river, some sort of a Styx river, if you want, is flowing there, Apa Sâmbete in Romanian, But this Saturday doesn't mean the day. It means the death in arhaism, because we have a word in Romanian, spartă cineva sâmbetele, which translates more like someone want to kill you, you know. So this păduroiu, half man, half tree, he was alone, and finally the mother of woods, which is some sort of a Lilith, if you want, or you know, witch,
the mother of devil.
Yeah, got engaged with him, seduced him, and the 3 daughters were made out of this union, which are, in fact, 6 daughters. 3 daughters turned to be good. And, they were taken as wives by the kings of Dacia. But the other 3 were turned evil by their mother, you know, so they become the she-wolves, Yelele. You know, so they are haunting the warriors that goes away from the pack, you know, and alone warriors in the woods, and they are twisted and killed by the Yele. So it's a lot of lore, a lot of folklore. Also, the vampire myth is there. Nosferatu, back from 500 AD, BC, before Christ. We have the Hultans, which translate more like, you know, the priest, some mystical priest, you know, that hold a lot of power in sorcery. And these Hultans, which in Romania also means eagle in the archaic language, so they master the power of the nature, like, you know, severe storm, like earthquakes, fires, and so on. So this also seems to exist today in Romania, with some mystics in the mountains performing such rituals like, you know, Caloianu, which means bringer of the rain, you know, like Călușu, which also means ending the drought. And of course, we have the Capnobatai. We don't know much about that, but we can assume this warrior priest, Capnobatai, it means we know that the Dacians were ruled by both the king in the laic society, you know, and the priest, the high priest, which, for example, was Deceneu in the times of Burebista, in the religious part. So they had equal power. The king went to war and commanded everything related to the army and the civil society, while the priest commanded everything else with equal power. So those priests were known as Capnobatai, or those who walk on smoke. So it is believed that they had a lot of potions, drugs, mind-altering, you know, potions for the warriors, going berserk everywhere, you know, treating them. And we have this myth of men becoming one with the animal. We know that standards, battle standards and flags from archaeology, from the Dacian archaeology, depicts various animals. Of course, the wolf is the most common in the Dacian flag, but we also have the boar, we have the ram, we have the bull, and we have the snake, the eagle. So every tribe has had its own totemic animal. So they try to become one with a bear or one with a wolf. You know, so they use the skins, wolf skins or bear skins, to be dressed with those. And going to war, for example, we have this monument at Adanclisi in Romania. And there, in 101, a huge battle was taken between Decebalus and Roman Empire. It ended with a peace, as I told you. But what is important is that the battle took place on 6th of January, where the Danube was frozen. Of course, the Dacian tried to cross the frozen Danube, you know, but the Danube broke, and a lot of their army was eaten by the river. So very few survived, only the light and the shock troops, which is the king's guard, you know, they survived, a very small fraction of the army. With this army, Decebalus made a standalone for 3 days in front of Trajan's legion, and we can see that in Adanclisi drawings. half naked. Imagine that. Minus 20 degrees outside, or minus 10 degrees, because in Romania the winters are really cold, especially near the Danube. So they fought half naked, just with the falses in their hands. And it was the last man standing, where they killed 3 legions, about 20,000 Romans. The Romans were buried on that spot, and the monument was risen in their name, depicting how they died. So it's amazing to see a bunch of crazy Dacians led by the king, half naked, with the bare chest, with a false in one hand and nothing else, going to fight pretty much like the Spartans, But they didn't.
For this long history lesson, I think we could speak about this for days.
Yeah, let's move on.
It's a normal session.
Maybe Paul has another approach on this cinematic and perspective of telling a story.
Yeah, no, actually, but just to add one important thing, because we'll drop here a link for that I found in English Heritage. So it's in English history, and I posted the Dacians were called the people of Budiswold, and I've been there. I live in England, right? So I've been to their place there. It's on the Hadrian Wall, looking towards Scotland. It's an amazing region. It's right now UNESCO heritage as well. So have a read, because it's quite interesting. A lot of people didn't know about this. I talked to a lot of English people, they didn't know as well. There were 1,000 Dacians on the Hadrian Wall in England, north. I work with Florian on the script, bring it, let's say, to an international level. It has a huge potential. The film we're making is called the Dacian Wars. We worked quite a bit on it. We have an amazing Bible. I think we posted the Bible on our Discord channel. A Bible is like a document where you pretty much document what you want to do, and it's kind of like a ready document for investors. Have that ready for the entire series, which will be probably 3 or 4 seasons of 8 to 10 episodes. It's based on true events, as much as we know, anchoring everything around true events, but make it cinematic at a level, so it's almost, you can say, not Vikings, but Game of Thrones without the dragons, because you have people around that witness history, but in order for it to be successful, you need to write proper stories and build these characters, So we've done that. The Bible is ready. It looks really, really good. Put it around to multiple people, non-Romanian, that they all actually are quite impressed of the potential of what it can be. I worked on a trailer that I've done for it, which is a pre-production trailer, so probably we can go into talking about UnrealEngine, which is another point of our drama.
Paul, I think we can step to the third point, and that's UnrealEngine and the hidden potential. I know that you have a lot of experience with UnrealEngine. Can you tell us more about it? And then Marius could share his opinion about UnrealEngine 5 and 5.1, as the AgeOfZalmoxis game is built on UnrealEngine 5.1.
UnrealEngine is an engine that basically drives games nowadays, but in the last 5-6 years or so, around Unreal 4, it started in 1998 till today. Around UnrealEngine 4, it also went over into filmmaking, and where actually filmmakers are using it a lot extensively in pre-production. There are the main reason why we couldn't adopt it, because the hardware, the graphic cards, computer were not keeping up with the quality that was needed. So in time, better and cheaper hardware came out, right? So around Unreal 4, we adopted Unreal into filmmaking in pre-production, which is different than a game. It's completely different than a game. I've done some courses with Epic as well, and had a lot of talks, developed a lot of things in Unreal with teams I worked in the past. It's an amazing tool for planning in the film business. Because you can very fast start doing some concept work, actually using like real lenses, and in the is like a pre-visualization tool that you could start shots and look at them in context quite fast, because you have all these tools in Unreal which you can add the light, you can add textures easily. There are huge databases. You don't necessarily have to build stuff to prove concepts. So I have a lot of experience in that. I applied actually for our Edition War as well. Unreal 5 is now Unreal 5.1. It came out recently. Basically it's just like the evolution of tech, if I say it. And it's an amazing tool. So I built like a trailer for Edition Wars already, which to understand how I'm using Unreal, and then Marius will tell you how he uses Unreal, which is completely different. We're using it almost like for like a cinematic tool, and you can create things that people usually don't see, right? So I can conceptualize a trailer, 2-3 minutes, and then after that, we're going to go and execute the shoot based on that. So then I have all the concept of the entire thing ready before I show up. So I'm very ready to do it for real later, if that makes sense. It has a huge impact on cost, on how much money you spend to make a film, right? Because as a director, you want to know exactly the more info you are prepared from before, the cheaper it gets, right? We're not living in Hollywood films, and all these films are made in a similar, in exactly this matter. But when you go on set, you know what you do. You know exactly what the shots, what to expect. That's like saving you pretty much millions into the budget. We're not creating like a game, I'm not using it like a game where you have a character and then you go left and right and jump around, and you don't go game mode, right? You're hardcore into cinematography. Probably sometimes the next month could be that I will release a small thing, just as a concept to understand what it is. And the more Unreal evolves, right, into 5, 5.1, 5.3, Unreal 6, whatever comes, just look better and better, because all the hardware is, you have a better graphic cards, better, like more memory, more speed, more, all of that. Calculation power, because everything is in real time. So that's the difference between rendering something or having something in real time. I hope I made myself a little bit understood.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for sharing your experience. Now, Marius, can you tell us more about UnrealEngine and how do you use it in Age of Zalmoxis?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Thank you, Paul, as well for the details. Like Paul said, it's a good tool to save a lot of money. Because if you think of the classic Web2 game studios, when all this gaming industry started, so for these big games, the top games, those companies spend tens, even hundreds of millions of dollars, to build those games. Now with this tool, with UnrealEngine, that it's technically it's very, very good tool, because it tries to make the work easier, for the developers, and also to bring a lot of value to the companies, because they save a lot of money. As you might know, everyone can start building with UnrealEngine, but as soon as the service is free, as soon as they reach a cap of 1 million in sales, right? So they have this open market, right? Now, I'm not saying that UnrealEngine is just a one-click option to build a game, because you still have to do a lot of work. You need to have lots of departments, people that are doing different stuff, like modeling, animation, networking. So there's so much work, but still, it's one of the top tools. And what we are very proud of is that we almost finished the plugin that will connect the blockchain with the UnrealEngine. So this is it's a very good achievement. I'm looking forward to release the big news of the listing on their marketplace.
On Epic
Games Marketplace, yes. It's a standalone plugin, like UnrealEngine likes. They don't like to have their code broke, so they prefer all the plugins to be standalone, which makes sense. And yeah, we're looking also to help other projects as well with this integration. And big other news to come in the short future.
Thank you, Marius.
Welcome.
I know that you said this, and the community will start asking when, and what, because you gave us a little sneak peek, but definitely we have to wait, and we'll see the great news, right?
Yeah, true.
Now, let's step to the fourth point of this AMA, and that's why should we be united in MultiversX? Who wants to take the mic? Florian, Marius, Paul?
Well, we have established already that a great idea is behind each other project, and this is what we have and others don't, The game AgeOfZalmoxis has an original idea inspired from the Dacian mythology, and this is unique to all the other players. That is why it will have a massive success. Already is looking great, and we know this. But this is my opinion, that as long as we have a strong product, we should unite together from our side. We are building this ecosystem on the blockchain to support valuable projects, and we are committed to it 200%, and let's hear each other. Marius also input and Paul, and we can come back with, if any other people have questions, we can come back to this.
Yeah, I can also add something here. I would like to see most of the projects helping each other, instead of competing for something, right? Because this is what will bring more value to the whole ecosystem.
Paul, do you want to add something?
Yeah, no, definitely. We are very excited that Demiurgos working with. We have kind of like the same mentality, I think, where we should just help each other to bring the best and positive results out there. You guys have a mature project already, and it's amazing. And the topic is probably, it's quite amazing that the topic is the Dacian. And we have even that in common. And it's, I think think the future looks good. In my opinion, like all these collaborations are very healthy, and we all try to push into something together in the same, in the same direction. I think it's great.
Thank you, Paul. As we have checked all the points from this AMA, I think we could start to answer the questions. The first one is from Taz, and I don't know who will answer. I'll just read the question. When can we expect to use vEGLD on AgeOfZalmoxis marketplace?
Very soon. That will be the answer. We will definitely have this option on our marketplace.
Thank you, Marius. The next one. Will VESTA X DEX list Koson earlier than MultiversX DEX?
Well, we don't know about MultiversX, but from our side, as long as our DEX is launched in early February, half of February maximum, Koson is our top priority, so this is from our side.
Thank you, Florian.
It's highly probable, yeah.
It's highly probable. Okay. I think that this one is for you, Florian. The Koson vEGLD LP pair, it will have an unbounding period more than 1 day?
So far, we have this unbounding period of 1 day right now, both for vEGLD, and we are working with this so far. So this is what we have now. We'll, of course, go on the DevNet and invite you, everybody from the community and from our side at Demiurgos. We're going to test this together on DevNet and see how it goes from there. I believe that's the fair process.
Yes. Thank you, Florian. Also, Taz says, I know that VESTA X also plans to create some lending platform. We will be able to add Koson as collateral, or it is too volatile at the moment?
We don't believe that it's volatile at all. We're going to do some sort of an audit with a board of projects in our ecosystem, Wenmoon included, as well as X-Launcher, Super and PRME, and a couple of other projects. And together we're going to use a technology that will evaluate, the bonity, the value of each asset on the blockchain. So from my point of view, your NFTs from AUZ and Koson, it's a strong asset. So it will be evaluated and ranked and accepted as a collateral asset for the lending platform. So yes, it will be as one of the best assets on the blockchain.
That's a good news. Thank you, Florian. Can we expect in the future for AgeOfZalmoxis to open a staking node on MultiversX used by VESTA X, just as how they do with Parasco? Cyberpunk City also opened a node, and the revenue from it goes to play-to-earn rewards.
We'll be more than gladly to assist you with that, like sister communities, but it's your call.
Marius?
Yeah, we had in the plans, on the long roadmap to open some nodes as well. So, we can also discuss this option as well.
Okay. I know that AgeOfZalmoxis got a capable team of devs, but in case of need, coding division can be hired to help out at discounted prices. Good one, Taz. Thank you.
We are here for you. Of course, we are body and soul, especially for you, but for all the blockchain. So if our vision, our services are needed, we will gladly enroll and put our shoulder to whatever is needed, especially to help you.
Thank you, Florian. As we said on point 4, we need to be united, right?
Exactly.
I think this one is for Marius. Tell us more about the vision, the concept, the lore. Do you think that AgeOfZalmoxis will mix them well with the gameplay so that regular players won't be composed only for old people?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question. As you might listen for the last hour, it was a lot of lore out there. So it's not just a historical game, right? We're gonna have lots of fantasy elements out there, and we're gonna bring new content, on a schedule basis. So basically, you cannot get bored, because when something new comes, then other things are coming just after that, and then expansion will come, and so on, right? Until I don't know.
AgeOfZalmoxis 2.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not worried at all about the content, right?
Me neither, but they don't know all.
Yeah.
Florian and Paul are renowned filmmakers. Will they help out with cinematics and visual stories within the game?
Yes, they can help, when it will be needed, of course.
Yeah. No, I think we're open. Do some.
This one is for you also, Marius. A bit off topic. You mentioned a lot about Battlegrounds, Arena, Battle Royale, but what about the open world PvP? It will exist?
Yeah, so just to, thanks for the question, just to make a quick review here, right? So the game first is going to be a Battle Royale, right? It's not going to be the full MMO, because it's impossible in this short amount of time to have a full-fledged open world game, even if it's just MMO and not PvP. But after the Battle Royale is out, then we start getting out, slowly the PvE elements, right? So people will start questing, discovering map, doing quests, and all this kind of stuff. And of course, there will be regions, open world PvP. So basically, you just enable it, and you are marked as a PvP player. And also, there will be zones where you get automatically marked as a PvP. So yeah, it's a lot of work on the roadmap.
Thank you, Marius. I'm sure that a lot of members won't sleep this night as you answered their questions.
Sorry about that.
In a good way. We all know that UnrealEngine is a great tool. We saw it from sneak peek and MVP. Such quality will be available also for users with mid-spec PCs?
Yes. So it depends a lot on UnrealEngine itself, right? But they aim, and of course, we also wish that the game could be optimized in such a way that it will run on the lower specs computers as well. But now it's also, up to them to do this features, right, to make them available. So you can still have a lot of graphic detail using less resources.
So it's up to UnrealEngine.
Yes, but of course, the team will do work in optimizing the game, But there's also up to Unreal itself, how they will adopt this to make it more and more reachable.
Thank you, Marius.
NVIDIA as well, no?
Yeah, of course.
I guess we all know the importance of collaborations and unity between projects. Will there be more collabs in the future?
Well, definitely there will be more collabs, but we try to get the collabs that bring the most of the value to the project. Not just to create awareness for random projects. We are very careful with who we do collabs.
And a lot of them are on their way, but for now, we just can't say nothing about them.
Well, that's obviously.
In the faraway future following this collaboration, do you think there is possible that the Miurgos holders be airdropped with some NFTs which can be used in Age of Zalmoxis based on their asset owned in the Miurgos, just like how Cantina Royale and Elrond Apes did? Or maybe the other way around as well?
This is quite a tough question. We're going to think on this one. And if there's going to be something like that, well, the holders will be the first to know.
Thank you. Thank you, Taz, for all your questions.
Sorry, guess what? In the ancient history, the allies, the most valuable allies of the Dacians were the Sauromatoi. That's the ancient Greek name for those people. And they are called the snake people, because they had armors made by souls. How is this? What's the word in English?
That's a nice one. That's a nice one. I think I can see already some armor sets with some.
Yeah, you can see also the triangle columns. The cataphractoi designed in triangle columns. I can give you a link right now on Yama just for the fun of the question. It's the first heavy cavalry known to ancient history. This is a link. And documented in triangle column the first time, used by the Sarmatian.
Thank you, Florian.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool idea, to have this kind of skins, for the people in the game. Yeah, we're gonna think of that. It's a pretty cool idea.
Thank you, guys. Let's move to Raceca's questions. When is the circulating supply info noted on CoinMarketCap, as many investors have no idea of the total market cap, and that's one of your stats that investors do when looking at the project. So some new investors have no idea that Koson, as it is such undervalued project, that by knowing total market cap, they would see the opportunity to research and potentially invest.
Yeah, good question. Thank you. I remember that we sent all the information last time to CoinMarketCap. I'm gonna just recheck again and try to get in touch again with them with this information. So hopefully they will bring it live.
Okay. The next one. Is there any new listing upcoming or application field for bigger exchanges in near future, like estimate Q1, Q2, 2023? Is the VESTA X?
Unfortunately, this cannot be announced. Any exchange doesn't allow this. But VESTA, sure.
The next one. How is the developing of the game going overall? Are we in schedule, still of the roadmap? And is there any challenges faced that could potentially delay roadmap in future? Or was it just a small hiccup with the Q4 2022 schedule?
Yeah, that's also a good question. So it's the first time we had this slip away from the roadmap. And I hope everyone understands it was also, the holidays in the new year, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, the rest of the things are all in the schedule, so that won't be problems.
Thank you, Marius. A question from Marius. Will this collaboration between the Miurgos and AgeOfZalmoxis affect the listing on Maiar exchange of Koson? From what I understand, the Miurgos holding token will never be on Maiar exchange.
I think it doesn't have to do one with each other. It's like you just list yourself on a different exchange, right? So if we go now and list on Binance or on Huobi or I don't know, it's kind of the same thing.
Thank you, Marius. Now some questions from Vlad. How the Miurgos can benefit from AgeOfZalmoxis if there is something on paper currently to be developed? And the other way around, which advantages do our AgeOfZalmoxis get from the Miurgos besides VESTA? Marius, Florian?
Hold on, I have opened my mic. From our side, as we we debated earlier, we have this whole ecosystem built and in building already for supporting valuable projects on the blockchain. From this point of view, we already have the vEGLD, which it's a strong tool of investment, and we are working on the marketing side to advertise it properly and deliver statistics and know-how and financial education for the people to understand the value of using vEGLD as an investment instrument. And of course, we are building on multiple fronts, and as we have discussed in this evening, AgeOfZalmoxis is not only a sister community and the platinum partners, it's a project we believe in. So from our side, the benefit would be not only the adoption of the vEGLD, but the supporting of the whole AgeOfZalmoxis community and the game itself.
Thank you, Florian. Can the Demiurgos be part of AgeOfZalmoxis' current or further development, coding, design, story, management, implementation, socials?
Well, we are helping on the story side, as much as we can, and as much the game needs, we are there. We are helping with everything we can for the socials and the marketing and the advertising for the people to know that this beautiful project exists. So where we go, we always present to the people also the game with additions, So if more help is needed from us, we are there always.
Thank you. Are there any risks upon using the Demiurgos platform for Koson exchange?
Well, it's simple. We are having 2 audits ongoing. Everything is going well on this side. We are building the marketing, and we are already delivering a product that every day is increasing on the blockchain. So if people want to contribute to the liquidity pools and have their share from there, and we explain plain and simple how it's working, it's their choice. What other risk? I don't see any risk personally.
I think this one is also for you, Florian. Which are the benefits of using this one and not others? Pros and cons?
Using the platform. I can speak from our side. I can't speak in other people or project's name, So the benefits are pretty obvious, right? Because the vEGLD is increasing, as we have mentioned, with the upper index every day. And that can be a huge benefit for the Koson also, if it's paired with the vEGLD. And beside that, it's really great to increase the adoption with every listing and every DEX possible. From our ecosystem point of view, this is what we believe in, and we are trying to offer the most to the Koson as a platinum partner.
Thank you, Florian. Have you considered having some events that can group together AgeOfZalmoxis and the Demiurgos communities? I know you have something in plan, Florian, and don't know how much can you share.
Well, with Paul, we have came up. I can share one little sentence. We have a vast experience, both me and Paul, in networking, in speeches, in events and such. And we already planned a gathering of blockchain people, and now we are working on that. It's too early to speak about that. We are focusing on the VESTA DEX for now, and more about that maybe, hopefully, after second half of February. There is time to announce. We need the summer to come, right? And the bullish.
You said more than enough. Let the summer begin. At this moment, which challenges has the Demiurgos regarding the company development? Do you have any backup plans?
Well, our point of view, there is no challenge. We are working every single day against the clock. Our roadmap is clear. We are building every day. We don't have any setbacks as we speak. In fact, we are fully booked until end of March. So every single day, we are overwhelmed with hard work, and that's a good thing, because it stands to our vision, So every day we get closer to our goal.
Yeah, just time. Time is our enemy.
Exactly, time. Well said.
But we are working 24/7 pretty much. It's really 24/7. And we're just following the roadmap and attaching to it things that we can say, anything that we cannot say yet. And it's just growing organically, as you see. But like releasing the first liquid protocol on the entire blockchain was a surprise. Like we have a lot of surprises coming.
Thank you, Paul.
Any other project, manpower would be helpful, more funds would be helpful, but we are happy and we show gratitude to our community and our partners for supporting so far. And for us, it's enough. We are building this way.
Great. This one is for Marius. At this moment, which challenges has WenMoon regarding both project and company development? Could you beat them?
Actually, when I was listening to the previous question, Paul just took my word. Yeah, we also have the same challenge, the same enemy, right? Which is the time. Yeah, there you go.
This one is for Demiurgos. Do you have something unannounced that can be revealed on this AMA?
Yes, we have something unannounced, but it cannot be revealed on this AMA. Happy with the question, with the answer?
Marius, the same question for you.
Unfortunately, I will have the same answer. So, yeah, nothing to be revealed right now.
The community members should understand that if you reveal something that is not supposed to be revealed, you can spoil the things, and that thing might not happen if you tell before.
Well, I can say one word, though, and that will be multi-chain.
Multi-chain?
Yeah.
That's great.
I cannot say more. No.
You cannot say more, but the community will ask me. I expect a tough night. Okay, for both WenMoon and Demiurgos, what do you consider being the biggest asset or strength of your company at this moment? And which one is the biggest weakness?
I think one of Demiurgos' strengths is vision and agility. We are all the time trying to pretty much come up with, so many people are surprised how you can do so much. I mean, obviously we work a lot, but, we have a clear vision and we adjust very fast. Sometimes, when huge corporations, companies, they cannot figure that out because that's how it works. The Titanic takes a long time to steer. So I think one of our strengths is that the weakness is, I'm not sure if it's a weakness, but we just want to do too much. Weakness,
manpower. We would love to have more manpower. But that will come to in the near future. I'm sure of that.
Thank you, Marius.
Yeah, manpower. That's the good one. So the more you have, the best quality, the great project will go. We have less people than we had before, but right now we are waiting for a Series E funding, which we're gonna increase a lot the workflow. So yeah, we're looking forward.
Thank you, guys. How big is the Demiurgos dev team now and AgeOfZalmoxis? This question is for both companies.
How big we are? Sorry.
How many people do you have?
What was it, Florian? We are 15 or so?
Yeah, we are around 15 people, from which, as we have announced openly with the coding division, when we have funded with our community, and again, we thank them for that, the faith in us. We have cut the mint to 5,000 SFTs, coding division, from which about, I believe, 4,500 sold out. And with those funds, we have hired the team lead blockchain, full salary, under the contract, and with him we have engaged part-time coders, developers, because we didn't have the funds, we didn't make the sold out, so we couldn't hire full-time an exact team as we dreamed, the dream version. But as time proved, we did our job and we are doing again against the clock in a wonderful way. So on the dev part, we have one full-time and we have about 3 part-times assisting us when needed. And on the marketing side, we are 2 people with another 4 people assisting us. I mean, it's me and Paul against the clock all the time, building, planning, implementing, and we have a lot of help from other people. We also have, the head of coding division working already in planning for our future crypto tax app and our lending platform and a lot of other projects, that we are pitching. The good news is that we are on board until March with about 10 projects, which will bring revenue, obviously, to the coding division, and that will translate in more people hired long term. We'll see about that. It depends on the pace and the speed of our roadmap, where we hit them. Right now, we are about 15 people, from which only 3 are full-time, which is me, Paul, and the blockchain team lead.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of kudos to Ancient, right? Because Ancient is...
And of course, Ancient, it's also with us day and night, planning, and we can really say that he invests sometimes more time than we do.
I mean, we talk 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. I'm on Ancient schedule.
Thank you, guys. This one is for you, Florian, and for Demiurgos. I don't know who will answer. It's a question from Crasius. How do you plan to attract trading volume on your DEX? Incentives are there for liquidity providers, but without volume, what will happen?
Obviously, a very pertinent question, Crasius. Thank you for that. So from our side, we are building this huge beast of marketing. We hold our forces so far, as we announced, because we want to make it by the book. So our liquid staking code is audited. We have received the hot fixes. We are working on that. Everything is good. And once we release that, it was our promise to the blockchain that when everything is safe and audited and checked by trusted entities, we unleash the beast and go full marketing for adoption. For that, we have an updated website where all the information will be there for both coding division, for VESTA and for the Demiurgos, with everything updated. This would be ready hopefully in the next week. We will see. We are working on that. We are working on a series of financial education videos, 2-3 minutes each, with animation and the voice to explain the utility of vEGLD, the DEX, the blockchain, the crypto, and everything. And beside that, we are forging strong partnership with the influencers to start our own podcast series, also for financial education. So what we need, it's a lot of marketing, a lot of advertising, because we already have a solid product with, as you say, good incentives for the people. They just need to find out, and we have to be checked by the audits and verified and with trust on the blockchain.
Another question from Crasius. Considering lending collateral involved, have you considered the risks? We all know what happened to Terra Luna, Anchor Protocol, and UST, their stablecoin.
Right. Well, we don't believe in that way of lending. So it's simple. We don't believe in that formula of lending. What we are evaluating, but again, this is a work in progress. It's checked about later in this year in our roadmap. It's not a priority right now. Our priority is the DEX. Our priority are a couple of strong projects to be supported and released by March. But we stated in other AMAs and other discussion that we evaluate a formula based on a similar concept with the FICO score from the banks, where with about 8 or 10 factors, we're going to evaluate the client, right? So basically it will work like a pawn house, right? So you have 10 NFTs with a floor price of, 10 eagles, right? And you have some Kosons, and you have vEGLD, and you have vEGLD, and you have some other assets, some snakes, some whatever else. So your wallet will be evaluated to some, let's say, 100 eagle, for example. It's just an example. I try to explain. So once we do that with the audited projects, I mean, not rug pull, not, solid communities, trusted communities that have a history on the blockchain and trustability and so on. So once we reach this evaluation, let's say, for example, 100 eagles, we will be able, depending on the amount, the more you ask, the less percentage you get, So you're going to lend your assets, your NFTs, your Kosons to us, evaluate it to 20-25% from the real value, receive the loan from us with a 10% a month, We store those assets in a smart contract, and you can pay monthly rate, 10% from what you had. Let's say 100 eagle. You are eligible to about 20 eagle loan. You get that 20 eagle, you are paying 2 eagle a month, right? In fiat. We are still developing the formula. This is why I don't want to go more into depth. But what is important, we don't believe in the FTX and collateral lending formula, putting fiat or other assets there. We believe in a simple formula that works in the real world, like pawn houses or like the bank, based on the FICO score formula, similar like that. We are still developing again.
It's early days for this. Like, it's just some ideas, like as Florian said, we are trying to concentrate on what we have right now.
I think I've skipped a question for Marius. How many people are working on AgeOfZalmoxis now?
I think I answered this earlier. The one we missed was what do you consider being the biggest asset or strength? So yes. I think the biggest asset and strength is the IP of the project, of this first project, and also the team, and of course the community, which is slowly growing naturally.
Okay, and how many people?
Yeah, I think we are about 14 or 15 right now.
Thank you.
And we plan to onboard more carefully more people.
I understand that. And the last question from Reiska. When world map in AgeOfZalmoxis?
World map, it's quite difficult to have it, just all at the same time. But we try to come out first with the lands, that will cover the land chest tokens. Obviously, it's going to be bigger over time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for this amazing AMA.
Sorry.
If possible, I have one small addition. I believe concerns everybody. Do not forget that we are now in a bearish market, which was worse in the past months, as everybody knows, right? So when other projects died, and you have seen that, we did our best, and we put a brick on this empire and this vision that we have. I don't speak about Demiurgos only. I speak about all the projects on the blockchain, and of course AgeOfZalmoxis, which stood strong, and build every day, and never forget that in 6 months from now, even if we had some small delay or some challenge, those are inevitable. It can't be, a honeymoon all the way. So together we will go over this bearish market, and I'm totally convinced that when the bullish will start, we'll be good. Everybody will be good, because meanwhile we have built it, and we stood strong and united, and we made it. We can say maybe in 1 year or 6 months from now, or 1 year, whatever it will be, we can say we were there, and we were there together, and now we are celebrating together.
Thank you, Florian.
I want to add something as well regarding to two questions, actually. It was one about a reveal, and there was Reiska's question about the world map. So I want to add here that most of the lands will be lucky, some of them, to have underground entrances as well. So I won't say more than that.
Okay, another good reveal. Okay, guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for answering all the questions. So let's say good night. Let's have power to build, and together we are strong.